We talk a lot about FHIR APIs and the different methods of integration today, and how those methods of integration can support certain needs. What we might see in the future is that you have different AI agents communicating to be able to perform the role of interoperability. So if you have opposing agents, one acting on behalf of the EHR and one on behalf of the API, communicating about a certain need for data, those agents can actually form the data payload in different ways and communicate in a way that makes the most sense at that time for that specific need. So what I think we might see is the ability not to predefine certain APIs and leverage those APIs for data retrieval, but to actually have this flexible sort of agentic option that allows AI agents to provide the data required based on a handshake with another AI agent that's requesting that certain information. There are some blockers to this, though. It's not necessarily the future, right off the bat. We have to solve some different problems, and we have to move forward together as an industry. One of those big blockers is that EHR vendors may resist exposing some data. They might not want to perform the work to set up an AI agent to do this because they feel like the AI agent would then expose certain data that they want to keep proprietary. For example, you wouldn't want an electronic health record wouldn't necessarily want to see a SMART on FHIR application come in and replace an entire module that they're selling to their customers. This could mean a dramatic loss in revenue for the EHR and a loss in the actual ability to influence how those customers use the software and move forward in the future. Secondly, there's regulation that we have to think about here. HIPAA actually mandates certain things that are more and more outdated as we move forward in the industry. The concept in HIPAA of minimum necessary is one of those. What does it mean for example, a scheduling application to have the minimum necessary data to perform its function? I've worked with a scheduling application that is able to ingest all data across all appointments scheduled at a health system, and that was coined as minimum necessary because the scheduling application needed to be able to use that information at the moment that a phone call came in without really querying for a bunch of additional data from the EHR. Alternatively, health systems have taken the approach with that same application to say that you can actually only have information about that caller right now. So those two opposing views of minimum necessary really get in the way for the application vendor to provide a meaningful service to the two different client types. What we need is everybody to agree upon what truly is necessary and what is safe for that data, and to be able to move forward so that application vendors can provide a service without the overhead of supporting essentially two different solutions.